I tell people that enter into leadership, and I'm talking about as far as becoming minister, elders, or taking on a role at the church. I said the first thing you got to do is get delivered from people. Because if you allow the people to get to you, you will mess up every single time. In the end of it, Moses didn't make it into the promised land because he got frustrated with the people. And when he got frustrated with the people, he didn't do it the way God said do it. And so, and this is the thing, he was always battling. They murmured against him because of the wife he had. They murmured against him. Korah and company talked about, God ain't just talking to Moses, he talked to us too. It's almost like there ain't even no honor anymore for the priesthood, for the office of, the pastor or whatever. Because they sometimes look at us and say, I put my pants on just like they do.
And they say it. They don't sometimes say it.
Yeah.
I've heard them say it. I've heard them say it to me or say it to their families. And then they have no regard of how they sound to God. Yeah. We gotta check our language of how we even talk to each other.
But they don't even think about the fact that God is right there listening. Yes. Because, when Miriam was talking about Moses, God came down and God handled that. And so I just even want to encourage leaders tonight. Yes. That's not our battle to fight.
Let God handle it.
You understand what I'm saying? Because God will come down and handle it. And the Bible says that his sister was struck with leprosy.
What?
And his sister and was put outside the camp.
That's real cool.
You understand what I'm saying? And he didn't even cause Moses to fight that battle. And he had to show up and say, listen, I talked to Moses as he is my friend face to face. And you have a conversation with me once you give sacrifices. It's something totally different. And so you got to be careful how you handle one another. You got to be careful how you handle your brother and your sister, because you really don't understand. And I ain't talking about just those who are a pastor. No. I'm talking about you got to be careful of those who work and slay among you, because you really don't know who they are in God. And just like God is taking care of you, he takes care of them. Now, I'm not going to say, I know that song is popular. God don't play about me. I be, seeing people make the videos and stuff like that. But God don't play about the other ones either.
No, he doesn't.
You understand what I'm saying?
No choice.
It really ain't about you.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's about God using it.
Okay. It's really not about you, because anything God has done for you or is doing in you, he's using you for somebody else. Yeah. So you have to be really, really careful. And I know we do certain things because, they're like cliches and it sound good and all this other kind of stuff. But you better know what you're really talking about, because you will mess around and the thing that you're saying to somebody else will come on you. The Bible says that the ground opened up and swallowed Korah.
Korathites was gone.
No. But remember, the Kohathites was the ones, the division of the Levites that they had to preserve and extend, because they carried all the furniture. Yes. So Korah and that group that was with him, and so God spared some of those his family members, because they were the ones that was in charge of the tabernacle furniture. And the Bible says that God told Moses and Aaron they could not die. You gotta preserve that line, because those was the ones who carried the Ark of the Covenant. But you better be careful when God has given you an assignment, and the way you do others, that thing will boomerang and come and take you out. And so, we was talking about this because we were talking about, the things that happen to us when we have impureness upon us. And talking about concealment, alienation, and distance, the first thing I thought about was Adam and the woman. And I know I never say Eve. I say the woman because before the fall, she wasn't named. And it's great significance. I ain't going to teach it now. But, Jesus called his mother woman. You know what I mean? So it's a great significance. So that's why I always say it. But
I'm thinking about what you just said. So as long as she obeyed God, she was the woman. But when she fell, she had to get a name. Because God had to separate the fact that in her spiritual place, we don't have those genders. It says neither male or female in him, but we're walking in him. There's no gender. But when we get in flesh, now God has to identify what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at that
Okay.
as, you know, Mary walked with God. I mean, she loved God.
Yeah.
And